You had some little projects you wanted to tell me about?
Crash Bandicoot was one of the first games I ever played. Naturally, I want to make something from it. Hey, how about that? To be honest, I already have a novelty light-up TNT crate, but it's kind of flat and frankly disappointing. To make my own, I'm gonna need some wood. I'll put a multi-resolution modifier on a flat plane. Then, using the Draw Sharp and Crease Brush tools, I will sculpt in the wood grain. I've tried sculpting wood grain before, and it does not go well. So I'm going to be a dirty little cheater, and I'm going to use references and trace over them. I'm tracing 2 different wood grain patterns, and using a material that when I export it, it will give me a black and white image, where the deeper the carving is, the darker it is, and the higher it is, the whiter it is. I have 2 patterns that I overlay in order to get 2 additional patterns, for a total of 4. To actually get started, I'm going to modify a standard cube. Hey, it's blank. I'm going to edit the UVs to make the next step go smoother. UVs are what Blender uses to tell it where things will be drawn on the geometry. After a simple subdivision surface, I put a displacement mod on the plank. The displacement modifier takes an image and uses that to change the surface of the object. With 4 planks, each one gets its own unique wood grain pattern. This way, the planks don't repeat themselves. Or there will be repetition, but you won't notice. The planks get duplicated and arranged into a box shape. I had intended to make the basic crate first, but then I realized that I had included too many planks. I'll just shrink these, and they're perfect for the spring crate. I'll copy that, remove some planks, and expand them. According to my reference images, each side gets 3 planks. The top doesn't need to match the rest of the box, not precisely. It needs to stand out, because I'm going to use it later. I've decided to go with the Crash Bandicoot 4 style. Overall, I think it just looks better. In the original games, the crates were perfectly square, and all of the parts were just perfect rectangles or circles or whatnot. In Crash 4, they looked more cartoony, like somebody had cobbled them together in a hurry. And in the corners where the planks meet, they have flattened edges to fit together. And I like that. Now I like to have the things I make be both nerdy and functional. So these crates are going to act as containers. I could have the crates printed as is with nothing in the middle, but as they're meant to look cobbled together, they're not actually that structurally sound. And there would be so much more overhang, and I don't think Newcomb Designs would appreciate that.
So what's in the box already?
No peeking!
Oh! 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 Oh!
I'll put a cube inside of the crate, and then empty out the center. This will act as the inner lining to my containers. I add a cube and taper out the bottom to fit into the crate. And this is why I decided to do the lid as somewhat separate. The spring crate also gets a similar X shape and its own lid. even in the world of Crash Bandicoot, these crates aren't held together by nothing. The nail starts with a circle that gets extruded upwards into a dome, then extruded downwards into a point. In today's bit of useless detail that nobody will notice, I moved the edges around and changed their crease shape in order to give them more character. Then I can nail them all into place with this hammer.
The hammer is my penis.
Wait, why is this one green? I made sure to have all of the nails be linked copies, which means that I can resize all of them by resizing just one. You might have noticed there are more than two kinds of crates. To make the reinforced crate, I'll put a cube around the standard one, extrude and shrink the faces individually, then delete them, and I'm left with a frame for the box. Another pair of planes for the X shape, duplicated to each side, and a solidify modifier to give it thickness. To keep things interesting, I'll add a few bends here and there. Now we have a reinforced crate, and by removing the X's and adding a standard cube, now I've got a metal crate. Wait, what's that sound? Oh crap. Great, now I have to make another one. Lucky for me, dynamite is easy to make. Don't tell the FBI I said that. A cylinder for the stick itself, and a few contours to sell the fact that it's dynamite. It also needs a fuse. That's another cylinder, but this time bent over sideways. Then we're gonna pull in the sides because it's more cartoony that way. Shut up. The crates will print all white, and I don't have the patience to paint them. So to make sure that the TNT crate looks like the TNT crate, I'm gonna take another cue from Crash 4. This wonky shape gets inserted into the side of a standard crate. A Boolean modifier on the planks will allow me to cut the shape out of the side of the crate to expose the cream filling. Now we have a distressingly big hole for the dynamite to go in. We'll just jam these in here any which way. Now no one can question what kind of crate this is. And a Boolean modifier on the sticks of dynamite makes sure that they don't interfere with the storage space on the inside of the box. And if we're going to put this much effort into the TNT crates, we might as well do the same for the nitro crates. I'll make a bottle to hold the mysterious liquid known as nitroglycerin. So many of these things start with cylinders. Bottles only need a throat, a mouth, and a bottom. They're kinky that way. Let's put a cork in there so the nitroglycerin doesn't, leak out.
We're gonna blow something up or get covered in goo?
Why are you so pessimistic?
Really?
Right. I think I'm gonna go with goo.
I'll go with explosion.
And some kind of ribbon label thing around the throat to keep it from being bland. Let's just stuff these in here. This seems safe. Don't drop any. In the game, the spring crates have very visible Wumpa fruit in them. Now, Wumpa fruit are not apples.
Get some kiwis and spray paint them red.
Okay, so now it'll go, Nick walks into the garden of kiwi trees, says how like Eden this world is, and bites into a painted kiwi.
But I am basing the design on an apple. There's a bent cylinder for the stem, and a bent and deformed plane for the leaf. In every spring crate there are 10 Wumpa fruit. You get 2 of them for every jump. So I'll copy the Wumpa fruit 5 times, then I'll copy the 5 copies to get 10. Rearranged and resized to make them fit. I still want the crate to be usable like the other ones, so I'll boolean out the inside of the Wumpa fruit. But it turns out that because the Wumpa fruit are round, it would cut off all but the very edges of the Wumpa fruit, leaving them completely unrecognizable. So I tossed it all out.
I want you to stop wasting my time!
As I stated before, I want the Crash Bandicoot 4 crates. As is, the crates are kind of square and boring. I like the way that the Crash Bandicoot 4 crates bend inwards. It makes them look more toony. Now, trying to do that to all the planks individually would be a nightmare. To make it less of a nightmare, I'm going to use a lattice. It's sort of like a cube mesh, but without any faces, and its only purpose, as far as I can tell, is to deform other meshes. I give all the planks this same lattice modifier, then when I squeeze the lattice inwards, so do the planks. And a second lattice for the spring crate gets bent outwards, to make it seem like it's stuffed to the brim. Now, to be honest, I don't really just want the crates. My original idea was to print a series of crates and hang them on my wall, in the shape of a bonus level. For that, I need a way to hang them up. This first piece you see will get mounted directly onto the wall. Then this second piece, which will be merged into the crate, will fit over the lip of the first piece. I'll boolean out these cones to leave space for the screws to go into the wall. You know, after every project, I think the next one I'm going to try to make easier on my 3D printer new cone designs. I think it's going to be low detail, it's going to have no overhang, it's going to be small, and I fail every time. You don't think he resents me, do you?
I could jam this through the soft spot on his temple, then slit my wrist with it before anyone got in here to stop me.
It would take a long time to print an entire bonus level's worth. Maybe that was a bit ambitious. Crates didn't come out exactly as planned, but they still look great. Now what do I put in there?
Why are you calling so small you want to crunch like an ant? Nobody calls me a pipsqueak and gets away with it! I hate you, Al! Why do you want to sell out your own brother?